What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay, and I'm back with another banger. And this is What If Deku was the son of Black Widow? Um, without further ado, let's get right into the what if. Deku was born, and for some reason, his hands are just extremely hard and soft. And the doctors are confused. And then once they pick him up and he wants his mom, he uses his hand. He breaks through a chair that's made out of steel with no trouble at all. And they're like, what in the world? What is this? And Black Widow, she's confused. Also, there's Avengers in this world, like a hero group. So, All Might's still the number one hero, and Endeavor the number two hero. Avengers are the number three hero, because they get judged all together, not just separate. Oh yeah, since they are a group. Anyways, but then the doctor squinted Black Widow and realized she's that Avenger, so they start giving her special treatment. And since she's an Avenger, she has quite some money for her kid. And Deku is at the age of 3 now, and she wants to introduce her son to the Avengers. He knows how to walk. He knows how to talk at this age. And then this is where him and the Avengers first meet. Also, Black Widow. You might be wondering who's the mom. Who's the dad? That's gonna come in a later video. But just know, I don't want to make it that obvious. I guess I can make it obvious. But he's from a certain X-Men group. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, he first meets Captain America. And he looks at Captain America and says, "Hi." And Captain America, he's like, "Hi." And he bonds to Captain America. But then the big green mean machine, Hulk, he sees Hulk. And this is like not the movie Hulk, just to let y'all know, this is not the movies. This is like the cartoon when he can think and he can talk. I'm doing that Hulk. Anyways. So yeah, he's not just a big monster who's unstable. But let me continue. He sees Hulk. And Hulk says, "Boy's baby my way." And he runs up to Hulk's finger. He just holds it and do not let go. And Black Widow says, he might like you. And then Hulk says, Hulk don't like him. And he tries to flick baby Deku away. But it's not working. And he keeps on trying for a good while. It's still not working. Then eventually he just accepts it. And he goes throughout the whole day with the baby holding onto his arm. He's literally picking up the baby when he's walking. So a time skip. He is now the age of 6. He's still, I don't know. Nobody knows why, but he's still attached to Hulk. As soon as he sees Hulk, he runs to him and hugs his face. And Hulk has gotten used to it. He actually quite likes baby Deku. And he knows that he will grow up to be strong. And this is when they start their training. Well, training baby Deku. Well, he's not really a baby anymore. But training Deku. Captain America, he teaches him, I guess you can say, is Captain America good at strength? but that should be Hulk fighting, I guess. Yeah, fighting. Hand-to-hand combat while Black Widow is out. And Hawkeye teaches him aim and accuracy. I mean, Hawkeye teaches him aim and accuracy. Thor, what is Thor going to teach him? I don't know. Oh, so let's say he can hold Mjolnir, because why not? But he's not going to use them at all. But he can hold Mjolnir. But I don't know if Thor can teach him anything. Hulk teaches him brute. Actually, Thor and Hulk teaches him brute strength. And plus, Thor and Hulk get along very well. So they both teach him strength. And Black Widow comes back. She teaches him, I can guess you can say, a technique to amplify everything he learned. And he takes to, let's just say, what type of pose? Like, I forgot what's his name off of the anime I seen, but he holds one finger, and with his pointy finger, he kinda sticks it out, but like a ball. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a fighting pose, and he like a hits fighting pose. And he hits hard and fast, and that's his strategy. So he goes throughout his life. Kachan doesn't bully him because he has amazing quirk, and this will happen last time. Him and Kachan fought at the age of 5. He really goes to school because he's too busy with his training, and his parents teach him. Because you have the smartest people in the world versus regular school. He goes to school sometimes to get used to social, I don't care, to get used to social people, I guess, being around people. But he sees Kachan, aka Bakugo, bullying a student because his quirk is not that good. And Deku, he says, hey, that's not fair to bully anybody. And then he looks at him and says, what are you gonna do about it, weakling? And first he says, oh, want me to show you? First Kachan sends his goons, and he takes care of them swiftly with a neck chop because, like I was saying, his hands are extremely hard. So with one hit, he takes down one by chopping the back of his neck, and then the other one with the low fingers. Let's say he tries to hit him with one of the fingers, he grabs it, and then he almost breaks it, but then he ends up using all his body weight and throws him. Now it's just Kachan. He says, I see you're kinda strong. I don't know what quirk you have, but I bet it's useless. This is his explosions. And Deku, he just, with his hand, he's just like hitting them away. So all the blasts, he's just hitting, not blast, explosion. He's hitting one side, the other side, one side. So eventually he gets irritated that he keeps blocking. And then he uses full power in the blast. And then he shoots it, and he felt like Kachan felt his arm was hurting bad, and he flew. Then he hit the ground, and he didn't even do nothing to Deku. He just hit it away. Then he walks toward him, and he puts his hand to his neck and says, next time, don't bully kids. Then he grabs his head, and he just throws him. And the teacher sees this and calls Deku's mom immediately. And that's why then Kachan finally wakes up because he went unconscious. And then he said, Deku's like, you're lucky my mom is here. Then he says, your mom probably just a weak little. Then he sees that his mom is Black Widow, the third hero in the world. and he starts being more quiet. And then he sees Hulk. Then he sees Captain America. Then he sees the God of Thunder himself, Thor. And right now he's just like he's very, very, very scared. Because he's like, hopefully they don't see me next. Kacha just runs away. Because Kacha is a big man, but, I mean, not big. He thinks he's big and bad. But once he saw Hulk, he knew it was over. So he just ran fast as he could. And they drove here in the Avengers jet. So, yeah. When I get home, the Avengers like, so what happened? Why were you fighting that? Well, why were you fighting 3 students? Then he says, well, they were bullying a kid because his quirk wasn't that strong. Then they're just like, because of a quirk? Oh, man. Okay, look, next time, don't get involved. And then he says, what do you mean, don't get involved? Then he was like, just don't. So he just says, okay, whatever you say. And, sorry. They're just like, just don't. Then Hulk goes up to him with his finger, pats him on the head, and says, it's okay. And then Deku looks and says, thanks, Hulk. So another time skip for like the end of middle school. He walks out. Well, first he says, since this is the last day of middle school, you need to think about your future. Then he throws the papers in the air and says, just kidding, I already know all of you want to be heroes. And everybody flashes their quirk besides Deku because he can't. His quirk is his hands. And Bakugo, he says, don't let me in with a bunch of these losers. I'm the only one fit enough to get to UA, the best high school. Then he says, oh, catch on your grades. You might just be able to. Oh, Deku, you're going to UA too? And they think Deku is quirkless. Then he says, I don't get it. It was funny. They're like, what do you mean? You don't have a quirk. Then Deku's like, yes, I do. And then with not balling his fist like his hand is flat, he pokes a huge hole in the wall. And then he just brings his hand back. And then they're like, when did you have a quirk? And he says, I had it since I was born. Then they was like, why don't you ever show it off? And then he says, I just felt no need to. And then he sits back down and goes to sleep. Like he puts one foot on the desk and his other foot is crossing that one. He just leans back and goes to sleep. Kacha was like, yeah, you think you're better than us? I'm like, no. Kacha says, hey, you think you're better than me? Huh? Is that it, Deku? I'm gonna kill you. And then Deku, he opens his eyes and he sees the explosion coming. And with his fist, he hits Bakugo's hand and make Bakugo fly down. Then he slaps his face as he was falling. And that hurt it a lot. Trust me, it's like steel. It's like you getting hit with steel. Very fast and very hard. Let's say The Rock, the strongest man in the world, actually hit you with steel. That's how it feels. So yes, it hurt very, very, very bad. And he actually goes unconscious. And they're like, whoa, he definitely can go to UA. Yeah, if he can beat Bakugo so easily. Yeah. So it was the end of the day and Deku was going home. Well, he wasn't really going home. He was going to get some food. Then he was about to go home. And he walked past the sewer pipe. Then he seen the sludge villain. The sludge villain hopped out of the sewer and says, I didn't know that Frick was in town. Then he looks at Deku, says, you have a strong body. Give it to me. Then Deku's like, yeah, as if. And then he flies at him, and Deku, he dodges, like, well, not really easily, but he dodges. Then he tries to sweep, the sludge villain tries to sweep Deku's leg, and Deku just does a backflip. And then the sludge villain's like, you think you're awesome, huh? Then he flies at Deku with one hand. He cuts the sludge villain in half, and then he cuts him into fours, and then he just makes like a whole, like he makes small squares of the sludge villain with one hand, moving extremely fast and extremely hard. So the sludge villain is, well, he's no menace. And Deku sees All Might, and he looks up to All Might. Like, All Might, he loves Hulk. Then his second favorite hero is All Might. And then his third is, well, Thor. And so on, so on. So he sees him, then he was like, oh my god, All Might. And then he says, I am here. He looks around for the sludge. He's like, hey kid, have you seen the sludge running around here? And he's like, he punched to the ground to all the pieces. And one was like, did you do this yourself? Yeah. Then he's like, you know you're not supposed to use your quirk in public. Then he says, actually, I always use my quirk. Then he says, what do you mean? Well, my quirk is my hands, and I can't live without them. Then he says, oh, well, sorry, that's okay. And then Deku goes home, and All Might grabs the sludge villain. He doesn't grab onto his leg because he knows he can become a great hero. He knows, he even thinks he can become a better hero than All Might, Hulk, everybody. So he goes, gets something to eat, then he goes home. And during the 10 months of training, he has been training with Hulk, Thor, all the Avengers. And this is when they first knew that he could hold Mjolnir. Because Thor, he throws his hammer far. Then he's like, I want to try. And then they're like, you can't pick it. Then he easily picks it up. Then they're like, wait, you can pick it up? And he says, mm-hmm. Then he throws it. Then it flies back. And the Mjolnir doesn't know if he wants to go to Thor or him. So he just stuck, like, going back and forth, back and forth. And Deku stops trying, and then it goes to Thor. And then he was like, so you are worthy. And then this is where it gets weird. Mjolnir, he just turns into a liquid. Everyone's like, what's going on? Then it flies to Deku, then it gets on Deku's hand. And it burns it. And he's like crying extreme, like a lot. But then eventually he feels that his hands just got a lot stronger. Then he does a chop and a whole lot of wind pressure just flies out. And then like, wait, what the? But don't worry, Thor still has the other one. Because Thor can hold Mjolnir, Captain America can hold Mjolnir, and Deku can hold Mjolnir. So, Cap, only person who lost his thing, so yeah, that's the only bad thing. He still had the axe. Anyways, what do I want to, now what do I want? Well, alright, I just get to the UA entrance exam, and then it's gonna be in the video. Anyways, during the 9 months, he's been training with his new strength, and Cap got a new Mjolnir, and then he realized that he can summon lightning with his hands, and he thinks it's awesome. So he doesn't do the pose. He don't do the headstands. He puts both of his hands flat, and he does a kind of weird stance. So it's time for the UA and sorry, the UA entrance. I can't talk today at all. Entrance exam. So he sees Bakugo, and it throws him off. So he trips over. I forgot the girl name. She's about to touch him, but he doesn't let her. He put one hand on the ground with one finger spin, and then he does a backflip. And she's like, that was extremely extra. Then he was like, sorry, I didn't want to hit you. So it's the test, and he was trained by the smartest people in the world. So obviously he got A plus plus. Yes, he has the new grade A plus plus because he corrected some of his spelling. It was a little bit off, and he corrected it, as well as did the test. And he did it in like a second. It was like literally like 10 seconds, then he was done. He corrected him and everything. He walks up, and he gives him the paper, and then he says, let me see how bad he failed. Then he sees his right. Then he's like, oh, is he this smart? And he sits back down. Then Bakugo says, he thinks he can beat me. Check. Done. Then he flies to the teacher. He's like, wait, really? And then then Bakugo got like 3 wrong. But it was like a 20 question, so yeah, it's not that big of a deal. He still passed. And the girl passed. Now it's time for the robot thing. Then he sees Uraraka, and he walks up to her. And he senses that somebody's about to touch him. So with one hand, he just flies back and put it to his face and says, move, please. Then he walks towards her. Then he says, hey, are you okay? And then she said, yeah, I'm a little nervous. And then he says, there's no need. There's no need. You got this. So he says, what? Like, then Deku just flies. And they're like, wait, he's cheating. Then he was like, no, he's not. Real heels don't wait for, I don't know, the thing to start, I guess. Whatever they say to start. And then they're like, fine. Then they fly as well. They like run full speed. And at this point, Deku got, he destroyed like about 20 robots. Also, Mjolnir went to his hands and feet, so it made him a lot faster. So he destroyed another one, another, and eventually he had 100 points within a minute. Then he destroyed some more, and some more. Then he runs to one robot, and he destroys it. He sees the 0 point, and he's like, I will not lose! Then he runs towards the 0 pointer and jumps high as he can in the air. With his hand, he summons some lightning to give him extra boost, and then with his hand, he cuts the robot all the way in half. But he sees it doesn't fall, so with his hand, he cuts the robot legs off. Then the robots fall, and then as it's falling, when it's a little bit higher in the air, he cuts the head off. And everybody's like, whoa, that was amazing. And he sees another 0 pointer because it's like, let's see how good he is. And then he runs to another 0 pointer. Then he jumps on his head and he stabs in his head. And he grabs the wires out, destroying the robot. Then he does a backflip before it falls to the ground. So they was like, okay, a few more. Then they do like 5 0 pointers. Eventually, he hears the 0 pointer who's about to get Uraraka. Then he runs to Uraraka. Then, like, there's debris next to her. He didn't jump on her leg with the debris on it, but it was debris next to her. He jumped off of it to get some higher boost. And with his hand, he just jumps high as he can. and then he used both of his hands. Then he spins and he uses his lightning, so it's like a torpedo or something. He's just spinning. Then he flies to the ground like I'm about to say what Fang? Fang over Fang. Like a Fang over Fang with lightning. Then he just digs in a robot head and just like goes out. He comes in one end and goes out the other. That sounds wrong. Don't think dirty. And at this point, he killed about 200. Then it was another robot. Then he kills that one, another, and another, and another. And then some more robots come, but not zero pointers. He kills them as well, or destroy them. You can't kill a robot. At this point, he has about 500, and I don't know what's like All Might top score. Let's say he beats All Might score, and he sees another robot. And he's too far away to help another student. Let's say the invisible girl, and he sees the claw. So with one hand, he just wings, and then a whole bunch of lightning just flies towards the robot and cutting it in half. Well, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friend. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.